Good morning. So you've created a channel or an internet presence that did so well that you were able to turn it into a full-time job and a promising career. Congratulations! But then it ends. What do? Join me on CGR Adventures in Publishing. We're gonna have fun. Or at least a whole lot of boredom together. For about a decade, I produced a show called Classic Game Room, which ran more or less exclusively on YouTube. And I was always really wary of that because it's never a good idea to run your business on somebody else's platform, because then you're forced to play by their rules and you really have no control, and it's horrible. It's just absolutely awful. So it forced me to come up with a bunch of other ideas, and eventually I had to go full speed ahead and diversify, and that worked out really well. I've seen a lot of other creators struggle with this lately, so that's why I'm making some videos like this. Also, just as a way to share what I'm doing every day now, which is publishing, making lists, and basically turning life into one giant game by completing lists. So heading into 2019, I made a giant plan for the year, broke the entire year into quarters, projected what I needed to do for each quarter, and now I'm entering the fourth quarter where I'm completing what I like to call the Fall 15. So I have 15 projects that I want to have completed by December. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, mark and count, 15! Whew, can I complete all 15? Well, 3 of them are already done. Thankfully, I got them done at the end of summer. I had 2 comic books, Ethel 2, Jesus 3, and CGR Supreme 2, Series 2. My handwriting sucks, just deal with it. Series 2. So I'm going to put circles around all of those, cross them off. Those 3 are done, and they're already on the market, and doing pretty well. So psyched with that. And for the rest of the list, I have a bunch of classic game room related stuff, and then a bunch of books, and also some instructional books. So I'm going to be doing a whole lot of different stuff in these videos. Some of it's going to be pretty mundane, but that's what this is like. It's not, if you're doing this stuff for attention, it's going to leave you miserable. If you're doing it for business, I think it's nice to actually step back into more of an old school business model and live on your own platforms, or at least use other people's platforms creatively so that you're not relying on any one platform. Life is great when you know that you can delete your YouTube channel and just keep on functioning. So let's get started here with the rest of what I'm doing. CGR 20th Anniversary Collection. It's actually all new content. CGR 2085 Master Collection. I have a 1939 New York World's Fair documentary. And a 1939 New York World's Fair book in production. Now, this is October 1st. I want to have all this stuff released, actually in November. Now, everything on this list has had at least some work done on it. When you're making a list, I find it's always good to prioritize. These 4 are all super important because there's already pre-orders, so they have to be done. These are the absolute must finish. Now let's go to the next tier, which is the next level of productions I'm working on. I have 2 other comic books, one called Omega Ronin and Magnum Skywolf. Now, there's been work done on both of these, but comics are very, very, very time intensive. They're great books to have out there. They can spawn numerous other products and an entire series, but these are really time intensive. So I'm just gonna make notes here that these are gonna be tough ones. In fact, odds are I'm gonna have to choose between one or the other. Now, additionally, I've also got a 1904 World's Fair book. I'm in production. I have a second installment of my World War I dramatic series of images, which is in production. How to Draw Narwhals by me, which is in production. I have an 1876 World's Fair book in production. Cosmic Death Brick Adventures, which is like an experimental art piece comic book about one of my favorite comic book characters, Cosmic Deathbird. And, what's the, oh, that's right, Old Timey Pictures with Silly Captions, Volume 3. Okay. Now, if I had to go for an order, when making a list, I like to put the stuff in priorities. So, knowing that these 4 are absolute must-completes, over the next couple of weeks, you'll be seeing a lot of them. I'm actually doing a lot of film work, a lot of video work in October, at which point that's going to end, and I'll go exclusively back to print. Let's see. Priorities after that, heading into the holiday season. If I had to order these, I love my World's Fair books. 1904 World's Fair book for sure. My digital drawing books have done well for me, so I want to do another How to Draw Narwhals. I've actually got a lot of good narwhal art already done for that. I like to push my art, so I'm drawing cyborg ninjas, bricks that destroy the universe, and cartoon narwhals. I'm just a weirdo. But I'm not sure that I want to have that high on the list. So Mega Ronin's probably going to push ahead of Magnum Skywolf, is my guess. I really want to have one of my big comics out by the end of the year. So it might be like a late November release. If I have to push Magnum Skywolf into January, or any of these into January, it's not a big deal, really. What's after Old Timey Pictures? That's about like 75% complete. I just need to finish the publishing work, the last couple group of comics on that in the publishing. World War I is going to probably run after that. 6. And I'm going to do, it's kind of a tie between 7 and 8. I'm only putting these in last place because I know that they're going to be hard to do. And it's not going to really, if I have to push those into 2020, it's not a big deal. So there's my list. Admire my handwriting. It's like a code that only I can read. Now, each of these line items can be broken out into its own series of lists. For example, CGR 2085 Master Collection has about 20 different things that have to happen in order for that to be checked off. And I'll do that in a different video where you'll see that it not only does it require production, editing, QA, packaging artwork for 4 different volumes. That's a 15-hour set. Then everything has to be uploaded for on-demand. There has to be trailers. There has to be icons, marketing, writing, physical release, packaging, inventory, website work behind the scenes, and of course, shipping and fulfillment. That's just one thing. And everything else has its own issues. So let's get started with an adventure in publishing. Maybe it'll give you some ideas on content creation, or at least give you something to watch and pass the time as I try to complete this list. Will I get it all done? Honestly, it seems unlikely, but I'll get most of it done. Let's see what.